So why did I sell 12 billion Dogelon Mars tokens for 9 trillion Dacat tokens? And before I get into the video, I just want to say this. This isn't a video to badmouth Dogelon Mars. It's a great community. I was in it for about a year. And when I was in there and I bought my first billion Dogelon Mars, I made this video and it was really embraced. It got 36,000 views, 1,200 likes, and this was in December 2021. So I always appreciated the community. I really, at the time, believed in the project, but I since, I made the decisions that I made, and I'm going to talk about those. My name's Russell Corey. Welcome to the Dacat Studios, Dacat World YouTube channel. I'm glad you're here. Please subscribe. Even though I'm going to say some things if you're a Dogelon Mars holder, you might not like, but I'm going to be honest and truthful. But I'm going to tell you how I got to Dogelon Mars in the first place. So I started as an AMC retail investor. We were going to get the short squeeze, and it didn't happen. I got killed along with a lot of other AMC investors. But you know what I learned? It was an expensive lesson, but I learned something. I learned about crypto from watching all these AMC YouTubers. They started talking about Shiba Inu. So I bought some Shiba Inu and I watched this thing rocket up. Now, the problem was I got in a little too late and I didn't have enough. So when it really hit like 4 zeros and an 8, I was there when it was really pumping. For me, it was maybe a couple $1,000s, and I kept like, yeah, let's go, let's eat that zero. But for the people, at the top, they probably were looking at tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, $1 million maybe in profits, and they started selling, and it, basically collapsed back down. And what I learned was I got in too late, and I didn't have enough, and I had to find a project with more zeros. That's where Dogelon Mars came in. I could buy it on crypto.com. I could buy it on Gemini, meaning it probably wasn't a scam because they wouldn't have listed it on those exchanges. And I didn't know how to just swap Ethereum. I was still new to crypto, so I was more comfortable buying things like stocks. And I could go on crypto.com, I could go on Gemini, and I could buy Dogelon Mars, so I did. This is the all-time chart for Dogelon Mars. And when I bought my first billion, it was right there, damn near at the top, right? And it went down. And as it went down, I'm a good community member. I doubled down, I bought more, and finally I acquired 12 billion Dogelon Mars. But in November 2022, I sold them. And it was nothing against the community. It was because of this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried. The FTX scandal happened in November 2022. And it just spooked me. At the time, I just got killed on AMC, and I couldn't afford to lose the money I had invested in crypto. And I was seeing these reports of crypto exchanges like freezing people's funds, like you couldn't have access to your money anymore. And in the wake of the collapse of FTX, I didn't have anything on FTX. I just couldn't take that chance. Mine was on Gemini at the time, and I sold. Here it is on November 8th. I sold it. I didn't swap it for anything else. I just cashed out. I said, that's it. I'm done. I can't afford to lose this money. It was almost $3,600, which for me was a lot of money back then. And I thought that, crypto could be over for a while, but it wasn't. It didn't. It came back. And by the spring of 2023, I got back into it. And I said, all right, I'm going to get back into Dogelon Mars. I got 3 billion. And I started to support it with videos and what have you. But then something happened. It was this guy, Pepe. Pepe came out like a green rocket ship. And I saw my chance and I said, that's it. I'm trying to get on this thing as quick as I could. I had to learn how to swap crypto at that point, buy Ethereum and swap it out. And I had to teach myself. And one of the things I ended up doing was I swapped the Dogelon Mars, the 3 billion that I had acquired, and I swapped that out for Pepe. Now, if you see those numbers there, today that's what this stuff is worth. The 3 billion Elon, the Dogelon Mars, would be worth $340, but for the almost 500 million Pepe that was purchased back then, that's worth now over $5,500. So you clearly can do the math there and say that was a good swap, that it made sense to get out of Dogelon Mars and get into Pepe as it was on this tear. But I had some problems with the Pepe community. I thought it was very toxic, and I didn't like that. I never saw that toxicity in Dogelon Mars, and I appreciated that. It was very divided. You kept seeing Pepe 2, Pepe 3, Pepe this, Pepe that. And I thought, God, if they would, everybody just stuck with the one Pepe, you know, we would be so much better. I didn't like how it was a divided community. It was corrupt. There was a point where there's a multi-sig wallet, and like, was it 16 trillion, you know, just kind of walked away from it. And, you know, it was like 15 million Pepe. It collapsed the Pepe price back in August of 2023, I believe. And then there's some controversy with Pepe that I was never really happy with, but you know, it was there. It had some baggage. So you say, well, why didn't you just take these Pepe profits and go back into Dogelon Mars? And there's a reason. No Elon. I think in the beginning I thought maybe Elon Musk has something to do with this coin. It's going to be a surprise, and he's going to reward the people that had faith, or maybe someone associated with Elon Musk had something to do with it. And over time, he hasn't done anything, hasn't embraced it. He's embraced other cryptos and mentioned other cryptos before Dogelon Mars. So there's no Elon there, as far as I know. Look, I don't know for sure, but I don't believe there is. Poor performance. You know, I'm sorry, facts are facts. And, you know, when I look back in the rearview mirror, I say I got out, you know, at around 300, and it's been, you know, steadily down since then. It's come down a couple times, but again, I'm a long-term holder. I don't want to just, you know, sell on a pump, and the performance just hasn't been there. It hasn't made me regret selling it at all. There's too much Elon hate right now. Elon Musk is not the person he was back when I started buying my first billion back in December of 2021. He just isn't. He's alienated people on the left. He's alienated people on the right, because now he started feuding with Trump. And people even put stickers on their Teslas saying that they don't like Elon. That's not a good sign. And when your crypto project is based on that personality, you're going to have some issues there. Sorry, but you are. Then there's the Solana and the pump.fun, that the landscape just changed, that the action of these meme coins, especially people that might be into Elon, that's all gone over to Solana, and this pump fun has made it so easy for anybody to make these projects that it's hard to see that action coming back to Elon with Dogelon Mars. And then I just see it too hard a road ahead to really support this project anymore. And again, I don't mean that as a mean thing to say. It's just, to me, it's a fact. So where did I go with my Pepe? I went to Dacat. And the reason I did this was, with Dacat, we had original IP. Now, there's the good and the bad. The good is that you can control it, you can build on it. The bad is nobody's ever heard of Dacat. You have to put the hard work in. But I saw that potential. So that's the great thing, that as we grow our IP and grow our brand, we own it and we can do a lot with it. You can't make a Pepe movie, right? You'll get sued by Matt Fury, and even Elon Musk. There's only so much you can do with the Elon brand before Elon Musk would step in and say, you can't do this with my name, right? Meme Alliance game. Meme Alliance is a project that started a first-person shooter video game, and they put like Pepe and Shiba Inu and all these big projects in, but they came to the Dacat community and said, we want to put Dacat in the video game, because they saw the potential. As small a project as we were, they saw the potential of putting us in their game, and we appreciated that faith. And by the way, Dogelon Mars is a character in that game. So if you don't like this video, please, hey, go to Meme Alliance, and Dacat and Dogelon Mars can fight it out there. Since launch, Dacat is up 200%, around 200% since we launched in January 2024. We're up 200%. Not bad, considering that like 90% of the crypto projects fail within the first year or so of coming out. And we're up 700% since April 8th, 2025. At that point, Ethereum had hit a bad low at about 1,400. An Ethereum, and we rise and fall on the Ethereum price, so we were down too. But since then, since that early April time period, Ethereum has gone up. We've held, and we've had some buying support come in and take us up 700% since early April. And the thing that I do for the project is I created a web series called Dacat World. We're trying to make it into a movie as well. It's just easier right now to do it as a web series. We have all these crazy, great characters. We have a lot of fun with it. And I tell the community, characters are commodities. If we can come up with characters that stick with an audience and we can grow, there's no limit on what you can do with that character. Look at Mario from Donkey Kong. I was a teenager when Donkey Kong came out as a video game, and look at what that little Mario character evolved to. Characters are commodity, and we have a lot of characters in Dacat World web series. There's also the Dacat Chronicles, which is going to be a digital comic on VV. So again, another franchise in the Dacat universe that other community members are supporting. And that's going to be on VD, and that's pretty amazing to do that. Not there yet, but it's coming. And our top wallets in the Dacat community are ENS. Look at on Etherscan, if you go, you can see these are not anonymous wallets. I hate these great pumpkin, projects where there's, this mystery about them. If we just sit in the great, in the pumpkin patch, the great pumpkin's going to come, or what is this mystery? Ooh, look at this mystery wallet. I wonder who controls it. Here, the top whales, we know who we are. We know who's selling. We know who's holding. And I've always appreciated about that with the Dacat community, that the top wallets, most of them are ENS. So we know who's holding. And that's where I have so much confidence that I ended up buying, 9 trillion of these things. And to give you perspective about how much 9 trillion is, my top mark with Dogelon Mars was 12 billion. And 9 trillion would be 9,000 billion. That's how much it is. It's an incredible amount. But one of the great things is, I told you I lost a lot of money on AMC, but because Dacat has gone up so much in value, I'm basically back to where I was when AMC was peaking for me. So I'm so happy that, I embrace this community. It's an amazing community. I'm glad I've contributed to it. It got me back to where I was with AMC, and we're still going forward. And I want to show you a couple more examples before I end this video. Back on March 17, 2025, there was a wallet that bought 1.5 trillion Dacats for about $2,000 at the time. And those 1.5 trillion Dacats right now are worth almost $11,000. That's about a 5.4x. Not bad, right? But in this wallet, because it's on Etherscan, because it's blockchain, in this wallet, that investor also held 311 billion Dogelon Mars coins, which at the time on March 17, 2025, were worth a little over $42,000. Now, those 311 billion Dogelon Mars coins now are worth about $36,000. So it's gone down in value since then. So what would have happened if that investor who had that 42,000 in Dogelon Mars, what if they had put that into Dacat and made a 5.4x on that by going into Dacat? And again, this is not exact. I'm just using this as an example. But that 42,000 would now be worth, at a 5.4% increase, doing a 5.4x, it would be worth almost $250,000. So think about that, right? We appreciate what they did invest in Dacat, but you have to, we've all been there where you say, I did it with Facebook stock. I bought some Facebook stock when it was $20. I had $1,000 in cash in an account, and I said, you know what? I'll put $600 into this Facebook, and I didn't even put the full 1,000. And I had other assets in there. If I had gone all in on Facebook stock at $20, it's like $700 now. But we all have those, in our rear view mirror. Here's another example. Recently, on August 7th, I started a program where I was tracking these ETH meme coins. The top, Pepe, Shiba Inu, Dogelon Mars, Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin is not an ETH meme coin, but I wanted it in there anyway. OMI, MOG, and SPX 900. And I wanted to see how Dacat would do against the best of these ETH meme coins and Bitcoin. Well, as of now, on August 16th, not only are we ahead of everybody, we're ahead of everybody combined times 2. Do the math for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that if you combined all the other coins and times it by 2, because you have to count some losses now for some of these, that Dacat, the $10 in Dacat has outperformed them all times 2. And if you look at more specifically at Dacat and Dogelon Mars, you can see, the $10 invested in Dacat on August 7th is now worth $12.68. The $10 that I invested in Dogelon Mars is $10.33. So it did go up a little bit, but look at what it is compared to Dacat. Now, one of the drawbacks of Dacat is you can't buy it on an exchange yet like crypto.com or Gemini. You have to swap, you have to get a wallet like MetaMask, Phantom, or Uniswap, and you have to swap ETH for Dacat or another crypto. So like here's some examples. There's swapping ETH for Dacat, or if you wanted to swap Elon, I'm not telling you to, I'm just, hey, it's out there. Or Pepe, you could swap Pepe or another ETH, based meme coin for Dacat, but you could do it on any of those platforms. If you want to know more, go to dacat.fun, or come and hang out, better yet, hang out in our Telegram and get to know the community. I think once you get to know us, you'll appreciate what we're all about. We're really trying to establish our own entertainment brand franchise. We call it the Fans Franchise. We want to build Dacat up. Imagine if you had an entertainment franchise with all these characters and you're backed by a crypto and you have several whales that believe in this vision, and you get to $1 billion market cap. Imagine all the capital that you would have to create movies, comics, TV shows, toys, games that can build this Dacat brand. And then if someone has to make a decision about, investing in crypto, am I going to invest in Fartcoin, or am I going to invest in this amazing brand Dacat that has all these products in the real world? I think, most people are probably going to go with Dacat instead of Fartcoin. So make those decisions. Listen, thanks for coming and watching the video. I appreciate you staying to the end. Please come to our Telegram. Let us know you saw the video and get to know the community. Thanks for watching, everybody, and good luck. And again, nothing but love for Dogelon Mars. I just had to make a decision as an investor. And sometimes we get caught up in the cult mentality. I happened to me with AMC. Even though I knew I was getting screwed in AMC, I could not bring myself to hit the sell button. I still have a lot of those shares that are at like a 98% loss. But when it came to Dogelon Mars and in the wake of the FTX scandal, I had to get out. And even when I tried to get back in, when I saw Pepe rocketing, I saw an opportunity and I had to take it. And as an investor, that's really your job, is to make money, to make good investments. It's not to support projects that aren't working anymore, like AMC, and quite frankly, like Dogelon Mars. I just have my doubts about its future, but good luck. What do I know? We're all been there where we've been wrong, but I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much.